Welcome to Tom's Aviation. Enjoy the next video.
Hi, I'm Steve Dietz. I'm a mechanic for Warbird Heritage Foundation, and this is Fred Bauer. He's the pilot of this beautiful airplane here. We're going to go over some of the history of it, and Fred will go over some of the performance data and all the numbers, because he flies it, I don't. I just get to watch him from the ground. This airplane used to be a Reno racer. It had chopped wings, chopped ailerons, none of the flaps were bolted up. There was a lot of things missing. When we bought it, it went to East Troy to Tab Air Aero, and Sam Tabor and his boys restored it to pretty close to as original as we could get. It's got R2800 on it. When we got it, it had a Skyraider prop, and it was set up for racing. So what you see here, there was a lot of parts that were remanufactured, found, scavenged, and it's a pretty neat airplane. As far as maintaining it, it's pretty simple. It's just a big airplane. You know, the engine, it's the same. We burned 120 Aeroshow oil in it. There's nothing on this airplane, it's maintenance-wise, that's really out of hand or unusual. So as far as a maintenance standpoint, it's really easy. I mean, if you're, you know, straightforward, we got good documentation, we got good paperwork. So I think we're going into our 4th year of operating it. So it's been an attention getter wherever we go. But anyway, I'll let Fred tell you some of the fun part that people really want to know. So.
I'm Fred Bauer. I'm one of the pilots of the airplane. So I have a pretty extensive flying background. I got into warbird stuff several years ago, and so I fly several different ones, but I would have to say this is probably my favorite so far. I like the Skyraider a lot, but performance-wise, this airplane leaves everything else in the dust that I've flown. I fly the Mustang a lot, which I always compare everything to, and I would say this probably exceeds the performance of a Mustang quite a bit. The Mustang was designed to fly high and fast, but this plane flies much better lower, maneuvers better, lower airspeeds because it has more power. Aerobatics is much nicer than this. The flight control handling, I think, is much sweeter. The ailerons are really well balanced. There's a lot of control harmony in the elevator, ailerons and rudder. It has a lot of power. It'll climb out at 3,000 to 4,000 feet per minute after takeoff. Visibility is great. On the ground, it's hard to see out of, but in flight, the visibility is awesome with the big canopy. It's pretty easy to fly. It's very simple. I don't know, I love flying it. It's fast. Usually I don't take it about 300 knots or 350 knots, but it'll go faster. We just kind of baby it, you know. I look at them as kind of like antique hot rods, kind of like a 57 Chevy, and that's how we fly it. We try not to abuse it, keep the G's below like 4 G's on our maneuvers. Honestly, the worst part of this airplane is on the ground, because it has a castrating tail wheel and it's very light. So as you're taxiing out, it always wants a weather vane, and you got a big long nose, so you're always on the brakes. In the seat in front of you, you have to use the brakes to turn, to look, but you can't turn very far because it wants to keep going, so you got to taxi very slow with it. So I would say that's probably the most challenging part of actually flying a plane is ground handling. But once you're in flight, it's sweet. You know, the visibility is great, the control harmony is great, it has a lot of power. It's very smooth, the engine and prop is super smooth.
What's the TBO?
I don't know, we'd just say like 1,000 hours maybe. There is no real TBO. But
yeah, we're usually about 1,000. Well, 1,000. Some people say 1,800, but 1,000's a good number to go by. And you go by condition, you know, how it's behaving. Some won't even last that long, but.
When you're doing air shows down your maneuvers, are you really big?
No, like when I fly it, like I'll do some maneuvers today, and so we don't shift the blower. It stays in low blower the whole time. So I'll take off, and once I get it for the air show, I only set cruise power. I don't even use a high power setting. So I'll be doing it at 30 inches and 2100 RPM, which is a low cruise power. And I can do the whole routine and maintain energy at that power level. Whereas some of the other airplanes, you get to be a lot faster and a lot more power. This airplane will just keep motoring around. So I'll come in about 300 knots, I'll do a loop, about 4 Gs, come out of that, and I can keep doing like over-the-top maneuvers and just keep playing it out and maintaining the same energy without losing much at just cruise power. Well, there's a couple different flap settings. Typically you can use flaps 30, but I like flaps 50 a lot. When you put flaps 50 out, you get a lot of drag, so it allows you to put the nose down so you can see better. So that's the advantage of it. And then you can have the power up so you're not letting it prop run the engine. So the more flaps, the more drag, the more you can put the nose down. It makes it, I think, easier to land because you're coming in, you can bring this in at 85 to 90 knots. You know, where a Mustang, you're about 110 maybe. And so you can land slower if you want. You can 3-point it, you can wheel land it. The only disadvantage of this airplane, it has a lot of dihedral in the wings, so any kind of crosswind affects it. So when you initially touch down, there's a lot of strut extension, about 18 inches maybe. Yeah. And so as the wheels touch down, the wings are still flying. So when you're going down the runway, as it's settling, any kind of crosswind will try to bring one wing up, even if you put aileron into it. And at some point, it seems like one strut will settle out and the other one will be up, and you'll be landing with one wing down and one up, which is really kind of weird. But eventually, you'll just keep it straight like that. And it's all because of the dihedral in the wings, so the Navy didn't have to worry about it. They're landing on a carrier pointing into the wind. But when you're at most of these airports, you got a crosswind. So that becomes a little bit challenging on it. But the advantage is you can slow it down enough that you're really low on energy, which makes it very nice. The tail wheel locks, so for landing and to turn off the runway, you have to unlock it and then use the brakes again to get back into parking. But you got to be careful if you do a go around. They always talk about torque in these engines. So torque's not really that big of a deal on takeoff. What's the big deal is P factor. So when we take off, you never push the stick forward very hard, because if you push the stick forward to get the tail up, the nose goes left. So we trim it up, so pretty much the tail wants to come up by itself, and you very gently push the stick forward and up. And as long as you do everything slow, it's easy to manage. And the same for landing. The biggest problem with torque and all that is if you get slow landing, you cobble a bunch of power in. If you're too slow with a bunch of power, you're going to run out of probably rudder and aileron authority, and that's where you could have a torque issue where it rolls the airplane over. So as long as you keep the speed up, you know, and limit the amount of power you use, it's not a factor.
Well, thanks for watching, and tune in and see Steve Jones' great video, and thanks for taping us.
These guys are great.
Please bow your head. Uncover as we offer our prayer.
With vegetables and potato. They bring a big loaf of fresh bread, hot bread. It's like, yeah, how to get this bread off. I was trying to scrape it off my freaking tub. Nothing came off.
Just screaming coming across the airport now. Ladies and gentlemen, Fred Bauer in the F4U Corsair. That is the picture that's going to bring over social media. Backside. When I was saying that it can get up to 400 miles an hour, this is the area where it will do it. He keeps that throttle pushed forward coming downhill like that. He's going to be every bit of high 300. So he goes right back around. So, here we go. Let's see, I lost him up there in the sun. There he is. I got a good finger point. Look at him coming downhill, folks. He's got that nose pointed down. You see it in the corner marker. He's going to lay it over on his front wind now. Giving everybody a perfect picture of that beautiful mountain. Absolutely beautiful airplane. Set up. This is called a tight radius turn. So he's got that thing cranked over on its left wing, about a 60-degree angle of bank, holding the stick back. He's pulling about 3 G's now as he comes around the corner. Got to stay right on that center line of the airport, so he's looking for it, pulling a little harder, banking a little more. This is Fred Bauer in the tight radius. The sun is right at his back in those deep clouds. Nose is pointed down. Still coming down, still coming down. Now he starts to level up at the same time, rolls in the wind. Stunning. Absolutely stunning. Mr. Fred Bauer. What absolutely perfect Peru Airshow day. Mr. Fred Bauer, warbird training, F4U Corsair. Flying for the people of Peru today. How about that, ladies? So the airplane is low, it's on the deck. I can't even see him behind these airplanes right here. Watch for the pull and the brake. Power in the brake to land. Oh. Right up on the runway to the wing. So what's going to happen right now is we're going to cover Corsair. We'll get off the taxiway, get right in front of the car, stop for a moment, and still the folks down south. Collect himself for a moment, then he's going to go over the whole time on the south end. The wind over down there, but this is beautiful.
Hey guys, everyone over here, this project is going to spin around as far as right here.
Permission to take off. I can hear through my headset those engines are spooling up on those beautiful 18.6s. 600 horsepower. You're going to notice a very distinct noise as they go by you, and that is actually the tips of the props, which are going supersonic. They make a really interesting whining sound. Now there's a power going by this boat. It's a little bit reluctant. When I should climb out to almost everybody, it doesn't get loud. They'll come right back down through their own smoke. Really, just gorgeous.